you a couple of warnings / you just front load some apologies there. You know, it's probably much easier to apologise to you now. I'm a little bit of a potty mouth, so if some swears come out and you get offended, I'm sorry about that. I promised you no one ever died from being offended. Good news, you know, it's not a good news. You can't die from it. Sorry if I drop a little bomb there. Also, like I said in my little bio, it's just been an absolute rich week. It's just the absolute pits. I'm an absolute hell, and so yeah. You know, like trauma gives you great coping skills. That's the thing. So you might as well use them. But you know, that brings me to sort of agree with the majority of the speakers so far tonight as to why I'm here. So I'm here because it's the middle of winter. It's a way of sharing with you a little bit of light, hoping to take a little bit of your light home with me. We're just sharing and hearing and caring, and that's just what I'm here to do today. So I've never been to one of these events before. I didn't know what kind of stories we were supposed to formulate and share. So I just went for it anyway. Who cares, right? Just do your own thing. Just do what you're doing, mate. That's what you're doing. So with midwinter, and I know, you know, like Matariki, the cluster of stars that is Matariki is obviously seen around the world, and it's seen all throughout history. We've got it in the Bible, it's in the Quran. My friend's wife is called Thuraya, that's the Arab name for Matariki. Subaru, Taurus, Pleiades, Seven Sisters, you name it. This is a really important star cluster, and it's probably my favourite celebration because it comes up in the middle of winter, and because the middle of winter is that time when we're all just on the edge of being a bit miserable and we need to connect and hunk down with each other. And you know, because all through history, right, we look up at the sky and we see this beautiful thing, and then we weave it into our stories, and our stories get woven into our DNA. I'm pretty sure there's just a little part of your animal brain who's here tonight, desperate to connect, to be reassured that the sun's going to come back. Okay, the sun's coming back, guys, I promise. I know that nothing's growing right now. I know that it's wet and it's cold, but if we just stick together and keep sharing our light, the light will come back for us, all right? So we're going to get through, all right? That's why we're here. Cool. So, Matariki is definitely one of my favourites. I'm not particularly experienced with this storytelling game, so hopefully tonight's all good. Anyway, so onto the theme, right? So I signed up for this before I got the theme, and the theme came through to me and it says, look to the stars. And I'm not going to lie to you, I had an allergic reaction. Yeah, look to the stars. Oh, okay. And immediately it summons for me these phrases that we love to bandy around. Attitude is everything, guys. Yeah, you know, just if you can dream it, you can be it. Yeah, well, you know, there's a reason. Everything happens for a reason, and the truth is that reason is usually the cause. You know, you usually did something and then the thing happened. Like, yeah, everything happens for a reason, but to me, it's not that mystical. It's not. So, I don't know why I got kicked out of my house because you didn't pay your rent, you know, like, not really. Yeah, so I am a cynic, so I received that and just thought, okay, righto, have a little Google. Let's have a little Google of look to the stars, shall we? Knowing full well that Matariki in particular is a favourite time of year for me to reflect, which I didn't realise was actually a thing. It's definitely like I get to my 6-month point and do a tally and think, you know, how are things going, mate? Do you need to change direction or what are you up to? So anyway, I have a little Google and I come up with the Latin phrase, right? Per aspera astra, which is the translation of that is through hardships to the stars. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. So I've got like this like 85-year-old man inside me that's like, yeah, through hardships. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. So suddenly, like reading this Latin phrase, I turn into this guy who's carrying a horse on my back barefoot to school and 10 metres of snow. Through hardships, yeah, you know. So the cynic in me really came alive with that, and I thought, of course these people are going to want me to tell them a story about running, obviously. I mean, it's obvious. Maybe not. Just thinking about hardships. And, you know, I'm like, yeah, look to the stars, have a goal, that's cool. But every time we say to someone, if you can dream it, you can do it, we're overlooking all the things that they actually need to go through in order to do it, in order to be it. And I thought, I'll share some of my cynicism with you tonight about my running journey. It does make perfect sense. I'm hoping to land something at the end there, so just stick with me, okay? Cool. Okay, cool. So, all right. Just as a heads up, I'm not an athletic person, but I play hockey and stuff. Like, running is not something that's completely outside of my skill base. Running's something I could do. I was looking on Facebook, and Lana had just done a 21-kilometre walk, and I'm like, well, if Lana can do it, I can do it. Lana is great. I'd like to be just like Lana, and I could run if I put some effort in. And so I looked to my partner, I say, let's do a half marathon / cough. Let's do like a 10K run. So I immediately went, let's do a half marathon. No, let's do a 10K run, dude. And so he's like, yeah, all right. Okay, cool. And so I made this goal. I looked at the stars in particular. I made this goal to run a 10K run. But actually, if you think about it, given that it's a skill that I already have and it's something I knew I could accomplish, this wasn't exactly like lofty goals, right? This was actually not this inspired goal that sort of turns your soul on fire kind of thing. So okay. So I decided on it. Now the next thing I had to do is make this thing happen, right? And the first thing I need to do for that is have access. Let's talk a little bit about access. That means I've got the money, I've got the privilege to have a full-time job, which pays me much more than the living wage. I've got the money to buy a decent pair of shoes, right? So I can access this goal. I am not a parent, so this might not sound relevant, but I tell you what, no one's ever come into my home at the end of a day and said to me, Mum, I need a hockey stick tomorrow for school. No one comes in and takes my time that way. But for parents everywhere, they need to either bake a cake, make a costume, help finish some homework, pick up a hockey stick from one of their mates off Facebook in order to get their kids into whatever they need for tomorrow. So I have the privilege of having access to time and access to money that I can spend on shoes that I can go for a run with, so I can achieve my not quite so lofty goal. I am also, I can see myself doing it because Lana did it, I can do it, and I'm really familiar with the skill as it is. So when we say to people, attitude is everything. If you can dream it, you can do it. If you can't buy a decent pair of running shoes, you probably can't. If we wanted to go to the two-handed clapping fest, we'll be like, hey, Marie, with your... Oh, no, yeah, hold on. No. Hold on. Check your privilege. You're able-bodied. Oh, I am able-bodied. That also gives me access to this goal. So when we go, attitude is everything, I'd challenge you to say that to someone in the slums in the Philippines, living with 40,000 other people in shacks. Attitude is everything, mate. It just doesn't fly. So not only did I need the access, I also needed the support. Now, boyfriend's come with me tonight. He's kind of like as introverted as I am extroverted. So there's a sort of sun and the moon kind of thing going on here. And I did give him pre-warning, so that was pretty neat of me to say that at this point, we're just going to talk about Luke for a little bit. This is Luke here. This is my boyfriend, all right? So you probably can't see him, but he's got the metabolism of a 15-year-old boy. Good Lord, this man is fit. He is trim. He can smash back a bowl of pasta. Bounce, bounce, bounce. All right, So, he had no real need to engage in training the same way that I needed to engage in training. So in order to train for this 10K run, right, we're doing 4 runs a week for 3 months. So this guy, this 15-year-old bouncy thing here. He's not 15, sorry. That's a... No! Edit that out. I couldn't run the length of a football field in one go. I couldn't run the length of a football field in one go. And whether that was me just being... or just having a wear, or that's because I was puffing and I couldn't get my breathing into the right sort of rhythm. I couldn't run the whole length of a football field. So that's like 200 metres, mate. And this guy here stopped every time I stopped. He walked every step that I walked. He paused every time that I paused. He never left me behind. He ran at every pace that I did. I mean, and admittedly, he was doing this while I was out of the corner of my eye. He's like, because he's a basketball player, so while he's very slowly chopping along with me running very slowly. He's trying to like work on moves and stuff. It's like, can you get behind me when you do that? Because you're interrupting my rhythm, actually. So away he goes. And so literally every single step, every single breath, every single pause, this guy never judged me. He never got frustrated with me, even though, like I was clearly being childish and having a little tantrum because I didn't want to do it anymore. He's just like, hang on, let's go. Let's just, oh no, we're stopping. Oh no, we're off again. Here we go. Every single step. So just for that, I want to say, for every single person in the whole wide world and all of the people in this room, and for me in particular as well, we all deserve to be supported exactly like that. Exactly like that. Never left me behind. It's just the most amazing thing. So I had this cheerleader. I had an app, we've got to go. Well, it was this amount of time, doing really well. Checking in to make sure that I was drinking enough water, and I had that community around me. He was right there all of the time, and he was there knowing my story. And I don't know, that thing where you break up with someone, or you've lost touch with someone, and you just always like, oh my God, I wonder if that panel beater ever called them back. You have these little fine stories with one another, and you kind of want to find out what happened at the end. And when you lose contact, you lose what happened in that story. So he was someone who also knew my story, this through hardship. He was with me every step of the way and knew all of the hardships, and he knew the story. He was there with me the whole way. So here I'm thinking, old man, through hardships. Hardships are the only way. Everybody face hardships. Hardships are much easier faced when you have someone with you who knows your story. When you have someone with you to keep you on track. When you have someone with you to get things regular or in routine or just on top of stuff. Hardships are much easier to deal with when you have a community and someone knows your story. Perfect, great. So we're doing this running thing, right? I'm learning how to run. I'm getting fitter. I'm learning how to fight the demons in my head. I'm learning how to fight with the breathing rhythm, how that changes when it's really cold outside. I'm learning how to cope with the pain in my feet. I'm practicing and I'm getting better all of the time, and I'm working through all that hurt. And one great thing about running in particular is the reward that you get from it. You get this incredible reward. If you're having a really good crack at it, right? On your second run, you're going to be better than your first. And on your third, you'll be better than your second, and so on and so on. So every time you go out there, you get to see that you've improved every single time. This is the most rewarding activity I've ever done, to stay in it, to stay in the game, to stay practicing, to stay persistent. We need those little rewards coming our way that gives us the reason, that compels us to keep going. And then I'm thinking, God, running's amazing because it gives you all of this feedback and it gives you all of this reward. Just imagine trying to accomplish some other goal where you don't get any of that. It's almost like you're going to have to believe in it in faith. Right. Right. Okay, right. And this is the point where I get a little bit unraveled. Just believes, old man, there's my old man going, yeah, through hardships. These are the things that you have to suffer, horse on your back and cold, freezing feet in the snow, 500 miles to school. Except that, and you're trying to tell me that I just have to believe in it. You're telling me that I just have to believe that the sun's going to come back at the end of these miserable months. I just have to believe. And so that's where my cynic sort of spiraled out of control. Unfortunately, my cynic was not able to hold the requirement to have faith in order to continue propelling yourself forward through any kind of hardship. And so I never would have believed it. I never would have thought that that was a real thing until I started running. And so I can tell you that now, just believing is something that I also need to incorporate into my cynical story, because just believing can make the difference between a really great run on any given day and not such great run on any given day. If I can get my mind to be clear and strong and focused, I can run and run and run and run and run. But when I'm running with all this drama and all this junk, I'm trying to talk to this and I'm trying to talk to that and I'm trying to talk to this and I'm splitting my focus and I can't get my run done. So of course, I have no right to stand here and be stink about the fact that people believe that attitude is important. Because attitude is super important. It's not everything. You still need access. You still need some kind of rhythm. You still need some kind of support. You all need a Luke. He's mine. Get your own. You still need some kind of rewards and something that will continue to propel you forward. But you really also just need faith. So that was my little Matariki story. I just wanted to respond to Jamie and say, you're right. I do need to get a new job. You're so right. I really do. I really do need to do things that are a little bit more inspired than what I do day in, day out. And yes, I will take your challenge. I will look up and I will look to the stars and I'll be open to whatever's coming my way. Thanks.